1. Doamnelor și domnilor,
Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We now invite you to follow the joint press conference of Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mihai Popșoi, together with the Chairperson in Office of the OSCE, Deputy President of the Swiss Confederation, Head of the Federal Department for Foreign Affairs, Ignazio Cassis, and the Secretary General of the OSCE, Feridun Sinirlioğlu. Distinguished Minister Cassis, distinguished Secretary General Sinirlioğlu, distinguished representatives of the press. I'm happy to welcome you today at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Moldova. Those days, Chișinău is going to become the capital of Europe. Moldova is organizing the ministerial session of the Council of Europe, where the ministers of foreign affairs of the participating states will mark the end of the mandate of our country in the Council of Ministers of the Council of Europe, and the mandate will be transferred to Monaco. And now we had today the meeting with a good friend of Moldova, Minister Cassis and Secretary General Sinirlioğlu. We discussed general topics. We discussed Transnistrian settlement and also consolidation of our cooperation with the OSCE. Despite the fact that some processes, such as the budget for the OSCE, have been unblocked, Switzerland still has a complicated mission. OSCE is still in a difficult situation on the background of the war in Ukraine and also on the background of the political turmoil in the region. Your visit is important considering the cooperation of the Republic of Moldova with the OSCE and its institutions, and also considering the role of the organization in the context of international security and in the context of Transnistrian settlement. Today's discussions reconfirm our firm commitment in cooperation with the OSCE in the context of regional security and in the context of Transnistrian settlement. Joint presence in Chișinău of the chairperson in office and of the Secretary General of the OSCE allow us to set a distinct agenda and also establish priorities throughout Swiss chairpersonship. Unfortunately, the security situation on the European continent and also right near the Republic of Moldova is characterized by volatility and uncertainty. The aggressive war of Russian Federation against Ukraine, it's already the 5th year of war that we are witnessing, and the war is causing a lot of damage, massive destruction, loss of human life, and the balance is devastating. The war has a direct impact on the Republic of Moldova. It is only in the last few years and months that the attacks against Ukraine caused deprivation of the population of the Republic of Moldova of their electricity. Like 70% of the population were affected. And on the 26th of March, Novodnistrovsk complex was attacked, which is near the border of the Republic of Moldova, and the attack caused significant pollution of Dnistru River with oil products. That was a major risk for the ecosystem and for the water supply of the population, considering that Dnistru is a source of water for 80% of the population of Moldova and 90% of the population of Chișinău, the capital. I would like to use this opportunity to reaffirm firm support of the Republic of Moldova to the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine, and also our firm commitment to re-establishment of peace in Ukraine and Europe. A fair, sustainable peace is an essential condition for the security and regional stability in the area of the Black Sea. At the same time, ensuring liability for violation of international law and of the human rights, as well as the war crimes committed by Russian Federation, are essential for establishing fair and sustainable future which Ukraine deserves. UN Charter and the final act, Helsinki Act, are essential in this sense. In this sense, the Moscow mechanism of the OSCE and the ODIHR reports are crucial instruments in seeking justice. We are confident that the OSCE is a platform, which probably is the most important platform for management of peace processes from Vancouver to Vladivostok, must be revitalized. We need to revitalize the mechanism of risk management, arm control, and other essential mechanisms for European security. In this sense, we need to lay emphasis on re-establishment of trust, on the engagement in the constructive dialogue in the OSCE region. The OSCE potential, expertise, and the existing mechanisms could play a significant role in the future ceasefire plan. At the same time, we welcome continuous engagement of the OSCE and of the OSCE mission in the Republic of Moldova in support of the peaceful settlement of the Transnistrian case. Presence and the mediator role of the OSCE are essential for stability and confidence building. The Republic of Moldova is aligned with a consequent approach, which will not change. We want a peaceful settlement of the Transnistrian case, compliant with the territorial unity and integrity in accordance with the international mandate. We want to improve public confidence, resilience of the society, and we want gradual and uniform application of fiscal customs, commercial and regulatory standards throughout the whole territory of the Republic of Moldova. Reintegration must be based on common rules, legal certainty, and consequent treatment. All these are essential. In this sense, in today's discussions, I have informed the colleagues that for 2026, Chișinău intends to continue its approach based on maintaining stability and also on gradual establishment of economic, social, and other conditions that are needed for reintegration of the country. As an example, we used the draft law which has recently been approved by the Parliament. It is about the elimination of the fiscal discrepancies between the two banks until 2030. This is an essential step for alignment and legal certainty. The Convergence Fund proposed is meant to support social projects on the left bank of Dnistru, and it has to be understood as a support mechanism. All those processes must happen at the same time with the European integration of the Republic of Moldova. I am confident that our advancement on the path of European integration will have a positive impact on the reintegration of the country. At the same time, the presence of Russian forces and munition stocks on the territory of the Republic of Moldova contradicts the neutrality status which is enshrined in the Constitution. And this is also a threat for the community and for the environment on both banks of Dnistru. It is certain that the settlement of those issues in accordance with the commitments assumed by the Russian Federation will give a positive dynamic to the Transnistrian settlement. In conclusion, I would like to reassure you, Minister and Secretary General, that Moldova will support Switzerland in successful implementation of its mandate in the OSCE. Mr. Cassis, you have the floor. Mr. Deputy Prime Minister, my dear friend Mihai, Secretary General, dear Feridun, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure and honor to be today in the Republic of Moldova as the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Switzerland and the Chairperson in Office of the OSCE. First, I would like to express my gratitude for the warm welcome here today in Chișinău. We had a very constructive discussion with the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Popșoi. I also had the pleasure to have a meeting with the Minister and Prime Minister Munteanu and Deputy Prime Minister Chiver. And right after this press conference, I'm going to have a meeting with President Sandu. Switzerland has always supported the role of the OSCE in the settlement of the Transnistrian case. And this is the only path to move on and settle the conflict between the sides of the Transnistrian issue. And later today, I'm going to have a dialogue in this sense in Bender. This is going to be my first visit to Transnistria. Swiss chairpersonship pays great attention to the role of the OSCE in settling modern challenges. Together with Deputy Prime Minister Popșoi, we have discussed the matters that would be extremely useful for all the participating states. Ladies and gentlemen, we must pay attention to the role of the European continent in the world politics. And countries like Switzerland, Moldova, and other countries of the EU are involved in a process which is important. Like in Yerevan, we had the meeting of the European political community. All these are meant to give stability to the European continent and also the ability to be stronger in terms of defense. And the OSCE and the Council of Europe, where Moldova was the chair, will have an essential contribution in this sense. Today in the morning, we have discussed the contribution of the OSCE in an eventual agreement that could be negotiated between Ukraine and Russia. This issue is important, particularly when the possible solution is somewhere close. I believe that we need to continue to work to find a solution, and OSCE must be ready to support fair and sustainable peace between Ukraine and Russia. Together with the Secretary General Sinirlioğlu, in Kiev and in Moscow, we will propose a specific dialogue and a specific agreement between the parties. And this shows that the OSCE is still a useful and indispensable platform for the European security. I would also like to say that I'm here to participate in the 135th session of the Council of Ministers of the Council of Europe under the presence of Moldova. Council of Europe is here to support the rule of law, human rights, and the democracy, which have become quite fragile. We have common values and dialogue, which is particularly important in the context nowadays. Together with you, Mr. Deputy Prime Minister, and together with the two Secretary Generals, we're going to have a meeting to discuss the cooperation between our organizations. During the time of multilateralism and other issues, our organizations must cooperate in synergy, and there has to be fidelity to the original goals of the organization, and we should eliminate any duplication. We should be efficient. And in the context of crisis and instability, the only possible response is the efficient multilateralism so that the outcomes are visible to the population. For Switzerland, it is important to encourage targeted cooperation, which consolidates values of specific elements, and this is important also for the context of multilateral organizations. I would also like to remind you that in my capacity as a Swiss minister, I must say that we have excellent cooperation. We have a beautiful cooperation in Chișinău, and we work on different issues such as governance, health, humanitarian matters. And I would like to reassure you that our cooperation will continue. Our countries share numerous common values, and we have different areas of cooperation. Switzerland is committed to stay a reliable partner for the Republic of Moldova thanks to its program of cooperation, which will continue even in the context of the war against Ukraine. I would also like to say that the Republic of Moldova has a European future, a stable future, prosperous future, and all countries of the European continent and of the world want exactly this kind of future, so thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sinirlioğlu, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, dear Deputy Prime Minister, for hosting both the OSCE Chairman in Office, Ignazio, and myself here in Chișinău today. I am pleased to be back. This is my second visit to Moldova as OSCE Secretary General. It reflects the great importance the OSCE attaches to Moldova and to our sustained engagement on the ground for over 30 years. The OSCE remains firmly committed to supporting stability and security of Moldova through dialogue and cooperation to strengthen regional stability and comprehensive security. Today's security environment in Europe is becoming more contested, more fragmented, more unpredictable. The war in Ukraine continues to cause immense human suffering. It deepens divisions across Europe, and it continues to affect Moldova, including its security, economy, and energy situation. This war must end through a negotiated settlement. I commend Moldova's resilience in responding to these challenges and its continued commitment to the peaceful settlement of the Transnistrian conflict. The OSCE mission to Moldova continues to carry out important work in facilitating dialogue between the sides. Recent in-person talks in the 1+1 format and the Working Group on Economic Issues represent important steps forward. We are committed to advancing efforts towards a comprehensive and lasting political settlement of the Transnistrian conflict. Our mission engages with both sides of the Dniester-Dnistru River. It facilitates dialogue and practical cooperation on the ground. In these uncertain times, dialogue remains our most stabilizing force. This is where the OSCE continues to play a vital role. As a platform for inclusive dialogue across the OSCE region, including here in Moldova, the OSCE stands ready to continue its engagement in Moldova in support of stability, dialogue, and comprehensive security. Thank you.
Vă mulțumim frumos, conferința a luat sfârșit. O zi
Thank you, the press conference is over. Have a good day.